Alright guys, welcome back to another video. Today we're going to be doing something a little different. Top 6. Yes, not 5, not 10. Not 5, 10, 15, 20. Top 6 tips I have for rising nations. So number 1 is economy based. So I asked the first two are economy based. So the first one is factories. So always put most of your factories, sure I don't put all my electronics factories on Square Cities in this clip right here. But make 4 electronics factories, and as soon as they're done, you want to get at least about half a gain, probably most likely 1 gain of gold and copper. So as if your trade's canceled because it gets invaded or something like that, just it becomes a player and they get canceled. You don't immediately just lose it all, and then your electronics start to die and blah blah blah. And then I also recommend that if you're a small country, um, you definitely do this because this will boost your economy up. So, but I have to say, if you're a country that doesn't earn a lot of tax, I would be careful and kind of trying to, yeah, try to speed run through buying all the stuff needed for it. Just click as fast as you can. Just don't accidentally buy so much stuff that you die, you know? But yeah, that's what I recommend. So, part 2 is ideologies. Yeah, we've already gone through 2 tips in a minute and a half. Alright, so part 2 is ideologies. So, third tip I have is if you don't know how to play as democratic nations, which if you're new to this, I'm sure you probably don't. So, Brazil, Japan, USA, India, and there's probably more. I can't think off the top of my head if there's any more, but there might be more. Anyways, and also don't be democratic. Like, the option you have for ideologies, don't go liberalism, then democratic. Unless you know what you're doing, because only thing this can get you is unrest reduction and money. But the unrest reduction is kind of useless because if you declare war, you lose 3 stability, and then if your losses are more than 1 million, just say goodbye to half your country because it's all declaring independence. Because every single nation that has democracy built in has um releasables. That's what they're called. Other than Japan and India, so it's the Asian countries versus the American countries. So, anyways, yeah. And then if you were like India and you're trying to form the Maurya Empire, however you pronounce that, yeah, it's not gonna go well. But what I do recommend for ideologies is nationalisms to fascism or socialism to communism. I get they aren't as good in real life, but let's just not focus on that. Anyways, yeah, those are the 2 I recommend. Mainly nationalism if you're declaring wars a lot, and socialism if you're just gonna do a bunch of factories and stuff. Because your factories, resource output, manpower gain go through the roof. And also if you have a giant navy and you need reinforcements, that's also gonna help with it because communism cuts resources, not resources, reinforcement costs by like 40%, which is very good, especially for like submarines. Really good. So I recommend both of those, but the one I recommend more if you're trying to like expand a lot is nationalism. Of course, they're not gonna immediately have enough to get nationalism or anything, but yeah. So, let's see. The final, I guess, uh, the final third of this video, I guess not really third of the video, but the final 2 are going to be about other stuff. So one's about research, one's about kind of expansion. So research, for a small country, I recommend you go to the economics, oh god, and then hit economic laws, or I think that's what it's called, and then go to if you're a really tiny country, this is only if you're a really tiny country, like an island, go to research to taxation high, research maximum, and government spending high, because you're not gonna have to pay much, but you're gonna get a lot of research points and political power for that, which will definitely help. And for the final tip of the video, I recommend, since it's pretty easy to get, just do the specialization, the air specialization, jungle specialization, and winter specialization. It's gonna help a lot if you're invading a country with any of those three weathers. How you get to it? Do start training, except you left click. No, right click instead of left click. Can't figure out my rights and left. Anyways, yeah, you left click instead of right click, and then you should see, yeah, see how I'm doing it here? Arid. So if you're like a country in the Middle East, I recommend going arid. If you're like a Nordic country or Scandinavian country, I recommend winter. Or really any northern country like Canada, stuff like that. And I guess if you're like in the northeastern Europe, I also recommend that. And if you're in like South America, I recommend jungle, specifically for Brazil and anywhere else that has jungle. So I hope you found any of these tips good. If you want me to make a part 2 of this video or Rise Nation speedrunning tips, then I can do any of those. Now, if you learned something from this video, subscribe, like, and notifications, blah blah blah, you've heard this before. If you didn't learn something, do the same exact thing. just say what I could add, I guess. I'm not the best player. They're better players than me. But yeah. So have a great rest of your day and yeah. Goodbye.